Alright people, good morning and welcome to Heathcote Park Raceway. I'm here with Paul and Jared. We're going to try to concentrate on our getting my 60-foot times down. Let me just turn this thing around. I'm going to get Jared to drive because he and his dad, they've been working together, for a very long time with when Jared first started driving go-karts and then Hyundai Excel and then Formula Fords. So I think Paul and Jared have a good rapport and communication between the two of them. Jared can say, look, the car's doing this or not doing that, and then Paul can check his laptop and check the data and see, to confirm what Jared says and make any adjustments if required. So this week I actually sat down for a few minutes at home and tried to work out how I can join videos together, and I think I've worked it out. So what I'll be taping or videoing every run that Jared takes, and hopefully, like I said, we can get to my goal of 9.5, and also once we get that goal, and then we'll I've got my helmet and long sleeve shirt and stuff, so we could I might get a few runs in if I don't break anything. Just around. So yeah, it's a nice day today. They forecast 22, 23 degrees. Unfortunately, we got a headwind, as you can see by the flag there. Anyway, it's nice and quiet, so hopefully there's no dramas and we could get a few runs in first thing this morning and see how we go. Alright guys, I'll head off now. We've got to get a few things set up, but I'll take each run and see how we go. Alright, thanks for watching guys. I think it's recording. I hope it's recording. Huh? Come on, Lance, where's Lance? Lance is going to guide him in anyway. Put it in neutral and we'll roll it forward a bit.
Something happened.
Something happened?
The gear light's flashing at me and it wouldn't let me shift.
Okay, yeah, we thought something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Alright, hang on, just turn this off. Alright, here we are again. First run was, transmission didn't do what I was told, so Lance has been kind enough to put Jared in the groove, and hopefully the transmission does what it's told this time, and we'll see if we can get what we're after, what we're chasing. Sorry I haven't been filming as much as I would like, but yeah, when you've got issues you don't really have time to film. But as you can see, you got Lance there making sure the track is on point for Jared. And As you probably could see, it's pretty windy. We got a headwind, so that's not going to help. But anyway, we'll if we can get our 9.5 in a headwind, that'll be good. Damn. Close but no cigar. Today isn't going as planned, but don't know if you can hear me with this wind, but I just said today ain't going as planned. But we'll just persevere and see what transpires until either something breaks or I run out of fuel. Sorry I haven't been filming as much as I would have liked because of the issues we're having, but anyway, that's drag racing. Alright, here we go. Guys, just having a little break away from my car because we can't get the transmission to do what we want to do. So we're going to try something shortly. We're going to try something else. But anyway, in the meantime, I thought I'll come to where the VBs hang out, Victoria and Bogans. There's nobody there doing anything at the moment. Looks like they're packing up. But well, I honestly don't see the point of this, you know, just see how long it takes to damage your car and stuff your car up. Yeah, it's not my thing. I suppose they have to spend the Centrelink payments on something, but yeah, it's not my cup of tea. So anyway, I'm going to head back to the drag strip and back there, well, everybody. It's now Monday, the day after the test and tune at the Heathcote Park. And I'm going to title this video 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. And the reason being is we were a bunch of idiots yesterday. We we were scratching our heads trying to work out why we were going backwards and not forwards. And we finally worked it out at the end of the day. So anyway, I'll tell you about that in a sec. First of all, though, just looking at my car, has anybody had this issue with a Territory? If you ever owned a Territory, have you ever had this issue? Can you see how I've actually had to put tape on that, what would you call it? The trim there piece. Can you see it? Because, well, it was quite windy yesterday. As the day progressed, the wind just got worse and worse. And Jared said, on one run, he heard something flapping, and he actually shut the engine down after the finish line because he thought something was about to fall off. And it turns out those trims, or you want to call it, flapping. They seemed to be loose. They didn't come off, they just flapped. So anyway, I just put some tape on it to make sure it didn't come off. But yeah, in regards to yesterday, what happened was, as you all know, I want my goal is to run a 9.5. And that's one of the reasons why I got the 2-step installed and everything, because I want to get my 60 foot times down. And I figured, because my 60 foot times are pretty shocking, they're like 1.6 something, 1.7 something, 1.8 something. And I thought if I could get them down to 1.5 something, I should easily get my 9.5 then. But as it turns out, we were having issues all day. The number one issue was with Paul's laptop. He plugged it into the OBD port, but because I got a splitter, because I'm running a scan gauge, it was going very slow. It didn't seem to work properly, so we actually disconnected the scan gauge and plugged straight into the car's OBD port, and that didn't seem to make any difference. So we reconnected the scan gauge. And but I didn't know this, but he also had like a USB cable that went from his laptop into the OBD plug that he has on his laptop. And I don't know what that does. Don't ask me those, electronic questions. I have no idea what that is. But as it turned out, that was playing up. It had like a break in it, and sometimes it'd work and sometimes it wouldn't work. So again, but we were mucking around all day with that until, at the end of the day, we worked that out. That the problem was, Paul worked out that the problem was. The second problem was, I should have probably driven the car first, because I told Jared, and mind you, Jared's never been to a drag strip before. He's, done a lot of circuit racing and, a bit of racing in Mexico. But he's never been to a drag strip, so this was a new experience for him the first time. Anyway, I told him that, I launch it in second, go in the third, go in the fourth, and then, I'll be, virtually on the rev limit across the finish line. So that's what he was doing. But unbeknownst to us, because of the 2-step, and we were getting quicker 60 foot times, he had to shift into 5th gear before the finish line. And looking at the laptop, the data, that, after each run, you could just see the car that's basically overdrive 5th gear. And it just falls flat on its face. Just you shift into 5th and just see the front of the car, the nose go down, and it said, all right, I've done my run, I've had enough. So, but we didn't work that out until later in the day when Jared said, "I'll have to shift in the fifth." And I said, "Oh, well, that's one of the reasons why we're not getting our times in a mile per hour." And also, oh yeah, with the transmission, it did the same thing yesterday as what it did to me last time, see Heath Kit. Now I thought it was because of the transmission fluid got too hot. And as you saw on my videos, I've actually remounted the transmission cooler behind my radiator, or intercooler I should say. I've remounted, repositioned that, and I've added another cooler with a fan. And we were checking the transmission temps all day yesterday, and they were actually quite good, quite low. But the car did the same thing with the transmission as what it did to me last time as a Heath Kit. And we worked out that because Jared was hitting the rev limiter, the transmission says, "Nah, I'm not playing this game," and it kind of then doesn't do what you want to do. It just, I won't say goes into limp mode. It just, yeah, you put your foot down to accelerate, and the revs go up, but the transmission doesn't shift until eventually it does. And what we worked out is just because it was hitting the rev limiter. So what we did, we actually increased the rev limits, and I've decreased the shift light, the rev limit on the shift light. I think Paul put the rev limit up 100, and I've dropped the shift light down 100, so you have like a 200 margin there. But this all took time. We were. And I apologize. I would want to film a lot more. I want to film when Jared pulled into the pits, what his thoughts were. And I want to film a lot more. And yeah, it just didn't happen. What else do I want to say about yesterday? Like towards the end of the day, oh, that's right. Towards the end of the day, I thought, I was thinking to myself, well, what a waste of time and money this has been, and I really appreciate Paul and Jared taking, the day off after busy life stocks. They work long hours, 5 days a week, and Jared has a younger brother, and they always go motorbike riding or doing whatever on the weekend to spend some family time together. So I really appreciate that that Paul and Jared came down to help me get this car sorted out. But once we worked out what the problem was, once we worked out that the transmission didn't like us hitting the rev limiter, and that we had to shift in the fifth gear before the finish line because we're our 60 foot and our 330 foot is a lot better than what it was. But yeah, the downside to that was we couldn't do the full run in fourth gear. We had to go into fifth gear, and so straight away the ideas start flowing forth fast and forth because we thought, well, put bigger diameter wheels on, or at the very least bigger diameter tires, so the taller sidewall to get the RPM down, that we don't have to shift in the fifth. And we've come up with all these ideas on what to do, but and I got carried away with it. You get all excited, you get carried away. So yeah. But then I said, well, hang on. I said, I didn't build this car for a drag strip. I built it for the street and the Geelong Revival in particular. And that's why I got the lower profile tires, because it also has to stop and turn as well as being quick at the Geelong Revival. So, and at the Geelong Revival, it's actually just a smidgen shorter than a quarter mile. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's actually just a little bit shorter than a quarter mile, so which in a way is good. That way, we don't have to shift into fifth gear. We're virtually on the rev limit at the Geelong Revival when we cross the finish line, so that for the Geelong Revival it's perfect. It suits that perfectly. And on the street I'm happy too. I should get some grippier tires for the street than what I currently have. But anyway, that's something that I could look in later. But oh, actually, I got my time slips here. I don't know if you can see it like this. But I was pretty to say I was pretty disappointed. It's an understatement. But once we've worked out why the times were so slow, it all made sense, you know, because yeah, if you have to shift in the fifth gear, that just kills it. But all in all, like you know, at the end of the day, it was a worthwhile exercise. Um, a big shout out to Lance Swan, the owner of Heathkit, because he was a bit down on manpower yesterday. It was just himself and HPR Blondie, and I think maybe there's one guy in the ticket box, and two other volunteers. So yeah, four in total plus Lance himself. So luckily, he wasn't that busy yesterday, and Lance was very kind enough to run out of his commentary box when he saw Jared pull up and make sure he put him in the sticky groove and everything. So big shout out to Lance, and of course again to Paul and Jared. In hindsight, because the plan was to I don't know what I've mentioned when I first got there on the video, but the plan was to have Jared do a few runs, get the car sorted out with he and his dad, and then I was gonna do a couple of runs. Now in hindsight, I probably should have got behind the wheel first because I would have known straight away. Hang on, I have to shift in the fifth. This isn't right, you know. Then we could have worked on that. But yeah, it is what it is. Um, Nothing broke. That even people that were there, they said, if you upgrade your transfer case or your drive chassis, I said, nah, it's all still factory stock original, with the exception of the tail shaft and the transmission, of course. And people just can't believe it, that this thing is still mainly stock running gear. But anyway, look, hopefully I'm gonna go inside now and see how if I can string these videos together because I've never done it before. Um, so I'm gonna see if I can join these videos up and then I'll upload it. And next Sunday I'll be at the All Fort Day in Geelong and have the car on display and have a look around at all the other forts there, and that should be a good day. And that'll be my next video from the All Fort Day. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for you following me, and yeah, that base, like I said before, kind of gives me encouragement just to keep on doing this. All right, guys, thank you. Bye bye.